Hello and welcome. Today we are going to go ahead and take a look at the Stroud Settler. So, the Stroud Settler, like all settler class ships, has to have a has to be a ship that anybody can fly, which means a Class A ship with 0 ranks of starship design needed to build it. And it's for the family that is looking to homestead on some distant world. So we need to have a cargo hold. We need to have an infirmary. We need to have a workshop. And we need to have at least enough sleeping for a family of 4, and preferably also a galley to cook in. We want to have someplace that we can sit back and relax because we may be living out of our ship for a while as we set up our new outpost. So, taking a look at this, we've got a nice little exterior view. And now, let's go ahead and fly on over to the Stroud Eklund Star Yard. This particular ship is built using entirely Stroud Eklund parts, and we can get all the parts that we need from the Stroud Eklund Star Yard right over here. Alright, now that we're docked, let's go ahead and get up and take a tour. All right, so immediately we see that we are in one of the Kontiki bridges, and then we have a ladder going downwards. On the top floor, we are in a 1x1 companionway. Directly in front, we can see that we have the 2x1 captain's quarters. I'm not entirely sure I want to sleep on that bed, but hopefully it's more comfortable than it looks. We do see the captain does have a private bath right over here as well. Going down one further level, you can see right here we have our side entry docker. Then we have a door coming forward, and this is leading us into a 2x2 living area. So this gives somewhere that we can relax, look around, enjoy ourselves. It does also come with a bathroom in here as well. And then we have 2 habs here. First here, we have the 2x1 all-in-one berth B, or maybe A, I can't remember. The difference between A and B is basically just which side the bathroom is on, and it will also go ahead and swap the galley side. And for some reason, it decides to always put that door where either the bathroom or the galley is. Like, I would much rather have it get rid of that desk instead. Oh well. Anyway, to make sure that we do have a galley, though, we are coming into the 2x1 living quarters, which does have a nice full galley, a nice big table for everybody to eat at, and then also comes with another 2 bunks in case we want them. Additionally, we have a window looking at the front. And of note, we could very easily go ahead and put a window there, and then however many windows we want on the side right there. Coming to the back of the companionway, we are entering into the Stroud 2x2 cargo hold hab. Note, another bathroom here. Let's see, just double check something here, because now I'm curious if there's a bathroom in the living quarters. Oh, there's not. Okay. So we've got 4 bathrooms so far. And then coming on over here, we get into the Stroud 2x1 workshop. Finally, we can go down the stairs, or ladder, and here we have our landing bay access in the middle of the 2x1 armory hab. Many settler ships do not have an armory, but this one does, so that way you can store any weapons that you might need if you're settling on a less than friendly world. Additionally, right in front, we have immediate access to our infirmary. So anything that we would want, or if anybody gets injured, can immediately go ahead and help them right there. So, all that being said, let's go ahead and enter the star yard. And somewhere around here, Havershaw's hiding. Probably around the corner. There we go.
If you need anything, just ask. Let me show you our stock.
Okay, so I am using a modded game, but there should be no mods required to build this ship. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm immediately going to select everything and then delete it. Alright, so I always like to go ahead and start with the landing bay here. I'm going to go ahead and put that right there. You can switch whichever side you want this on if you've got a preference. I don't, so I just leave it on that side. Coming in directly from here, I'm going to go ahead and start filling out all of the habitable areas first. So I want to grab an all-in-one, or the 2x1 armory, and then immediately from there, I'm going to select the front of this, and I'm going to select the infirmary. Directly on top of this, I'm going to add a companionway, and then another companionway. Coming and selecting the back of the bottom companionway, I'm going to go ahead to the 2x2 sections. I'm going to add the cargo hold. Then on this side, I'm going to come on over to the 2x1s and I'm going to work all the way on over to the workshop. Looks like the workshop wants to go forward, so we'll just place that and then shift it back. Since it can only connect into the cargo hold, we're not too worried about any other doors that I might want to add. Coming to the front of this companionway now, we're going to go back on to the 2x2 spots, and we're going to add the living quarters. Then we're going to come on over here to the all-in-one and grab an all-in-one A, I guess. I hate to say this, but you have to go in, check to see if it kept the bathroom or the galley, whichever one you were looking for, and if it didn't, swap the variant. Next up, on the front of this, we are going to add another 2x1, and this is going to be the living quarters. And this is how I'm going to guarantee that we have a galley no matter what it decides to do over here. And then, off of the front of this one here, I'm going to grab another 2x1, and this one's going to be the captain's quarters. So this is the hab layout. And then right above the landing bay, I'm going to go ahead and add the docker. Note, if I really wanted to, I could go ahead and add the docker right here instead. That's going to leave a little gap here and here. So that way entry and exit is always on this one level. However, that then means that the lines of the outside ship don't flow as smoothly because you can see there's this little divot here on the dock landing bay. That is not on the docker. So the docker is expecting to be a little bit higher on the ship with its design. Now then, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the bridge right on top of this. And when we come on down, we can see that the Kontiki 300 bridge is usable without starship design, but any other Karntiki bridges do require starship design. We could also go with a Viking bridge, but I like the look of the Kontiki on this particular ship. All right, next up, we are going to come on over to the structural tab, and we are going to start adding some structural pieces. So first things first, I'm going to come all the way on down to grab the nose caps and move up. And I'm going to put a pair of them on right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab the Stroud cap A's. And you can see I'm just duplicating and flipping each time. Now that I'm done with that, I'm going to come on back here, flip it to the rear variant, and repeat. All right, so this is kind of the outer shape of the ship. Now then, from here, let's go ahead and start adding our landing gear. So I want to come on over to the gear tab. Yeah, gear in place, please. And we are just adding a bunch of landing gear here. Now, one reason I'm going ahead and putting the landing gear here is you'll notice that landing gear is 2 mass, whereas if I were to come on over to the structural tab, I can scroll on down until I get to the Stroud cowling, and for some reason Stroud cowlings are 5 mass. So for basically the same shape, I save 3 mass per landing gear by just sticking landing gear on and not caring that it's way overkill on the landing gear. There we go. All right. Next up, I'm going to come right back here behind the armory, and I'm going to choose my reactors. For this particular ship, I use the 134 mm. And that's partially because I do want to have this connection point here just to make it slightly easier to use. However, I will also have a top connection for the grav drive that's going right behind this. So on this ship, I use the Helios 300 grav drive. And then, as you can see, if I were to use the Stellarator reactor, I would not have that back connection point. However, I will have a connection point up here on my engines. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and add those. This particular ship uses 3 Ammon 3 engines. And again, because this is connecting right here, I could swap the reactor to one that doesn't have that rear connection point. Next up, we're going to go back on over to that Structures tab. And I want the Stroud aft cap. I'm going to place that there. And then I'm going to go ahead and place the Stroud forecap. There and there. Then, since I'm still in the Structures tab, let's go ahead and grab the Stroud cowling 3. Oh, come on. And you can see I have 4 little gaps that I need to fill here. So, first things first, I'm going to go to this companionway here. I'm going to come on over to the cargo tab. I'm going to add a Stormax 50 cargo hold. Now, do note, if I were to swap this docker to be right here, I would have another gap that I could put just another Stormax 50 cargo hold in on this side. That would mean that I wouldn't need that cargo hold space somewhere else hidden on my ship. All right, next up, this little gap here. Now, we could fairly easily go ahead and hide some more cargo space here. Um, and just go ahead and plop a pair of these in. And if we do that, then we are going to need to go ahead and clip in the mid bracer that goes there. And you can see it does stick slightly up if we decide to do that. The build that I showcased, I went ahead and I put these cargo holds on the outside here. But if you want to hide it some, you can, or you can go ahead and stick them right there, and then it's slightly hidden. So it's just whether or not you want to see that cargo space or not. Yeah. However, then we need the fuel and shield. So for this particular build, I decided I didn't really want to look at the shield or the fuel tanks. So what I'm doing is I'm taking these and I'm placing them right here. And then I'm going to come on over to the fuel tanks. You can see I used one M30 Ulysses fuel tank right there. And then I hid that under the cowlings. Now, this is entirely optional. We could very easily go ahead and just stick our fuel and shield like on the side or somewhere else. We could also duplication glitch it down underneath the mid bracer if we would prefer, or just anywhere on these sides. And now you can't really see them. And for myself, I don't mind hiding things under structural for appearance's sake, but I don't like clipping in, say, like the reactor and the grav drive to take up the same slot. Now you can see here that we are at only 34 mobility and 27 light year jump range, so we cannot have any more cargo or engines or we're going to run out of jump range, because this is the best jump drive that we can get without needing Starship design or a bigger reactor. However, we can go ahead and add in some windows. Now, I had mentioned earlier that we can add in additional windows. So even though these weren't in the original ship build, let's just go ahead and slop those in. You know what? We can add windows to the workshop and cargo hold too, because why not? Alright, now that we've added extraneous windows, who doesn't like more windows? Do I need a skylight? No, not today. Alright, that's enough windows for now. I'm going to go ahead and plop some weapons in. As you can see, looking at this ship, we have a plethora of weapon mounts. So if you want any particular weapons, go ahead and put them on. However, because I was feeling a little spicy, I decided to go with 4 of the whatever these missile launchers are called, rather than the particle beams that I usually would. Again, use whatever weapons make you happy. If you are playing on higher difficulties, I would recommend running particle beam setups, but for, easier difficulties or just setting the ship combat to be easier, the missiles work just fine. Alright, so this is the ship. All that is left to do is paint it. Now, I painted this one for the initial thing to be kind of more of a green and gold, using gold as color 1 and then greens for colors 2 and 3. However, you can very easily swap this for whatever colors that you want and get a nice, interesting appearance. And that is the Stroud Settler. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day.